Good morning, everybody. 8:12 a.m. It is January 21st. Welcome to my channel. Now, yesterday we moved up and we couldn't break some key liquidity levels, specifically in the NASDAQ. And then we just dropped, basically hitting the overnight lows in the NASDAQ, breaking the overnight lows in the ES. NASDAQ was relatively stronger yesterday. Now, President Trump is about to make some speech at 8:30 in Davos. So I don't know. Supreme Court is not doing anything about these tariffs. Supposedly today again at 10 a.m. They didn't do anything yesterday. Again, it's the third time they didn't do that. So we have to see what goes on. Now, yesterday, as far as my trading went, I was short earlier on. Let me see what the level was here, just so I can remember. I was short around 68.95s. And you can see, let me see if I can put that up there. I'm not sure if I put those. Let me see here, show you guys. I can't remember if I have the 5-minute, 15-minute. I can show you here. Give me one sec. Just want to show you guys. All right. Let's just go to my chart right here. So, here we go. So 68.95. I was short right in here. My stop was above the high day. 10-point risk because it was pretty volatile off the open. But you could see I was short early on, and I believe I was live in my room. My trade got immediately sold off. But then look what we did. I mean, I'm a short earlier on. Look at that. That's 15 minutes. Another 15 minutes. Another 15 minutes. So the trade would have worked out. And then I got long. Somewhere around, let's see, I think it was like around here. I got stopped out there. Now the profile at this time was not showing me lower prices, and the internals weren't that weak, but they continued to degrade. Okay. Now, I did get a short. I scalped a short right around here. What did I get in? I think I got in around 56, and I took it down to the overnight lows about down to here. So I scalped this right here because at this point there was equal lows in the overnights, which I pretty much I saw the ticks really getting getting very weak. And when they look like that, pretty much all I do is wait for a pullback to get short. And then pretty much that was a pretty decent trade. Pretty much made me flat for the day. But my initial short, if I never touched it, would have worked. I don't know if that's a lesson because like there was about an hour maybe and change after my initial position. And the reason I got short is because NASDAQ couldn't displace higher than last week's lows. And we were in supply and a bearish for value gap in the ES. The internals were not the strongest. And it was just, I was looking at that short. That's why I wanted the short. But that's the way the market goes sometimes. Now, where did we hit today in the ES? I'll just show you real quickly where we're at. Okay, so right here is price. 68.30 is the most traded price of the rolling year. Remember I talked about that yesterday. I said I don't think we, on the first try, we smashed through that, and we didn't. Right? We tried to, and we closed up here. So we're battling that level. Now on a daily chart, okay, ES is at the 100-day moving average. Okay? We're battling the 100-day. The NASDAQ has broke the 100-day. Now we have to look at this swing low, which is an equal low. So on a daily chart, you have an equal low down here around 24890. The market might want to take that out first. That's probably a destination if we get weak. So write that down, 24890. Okay. We broke the 100-day moving average. Now in the QQQ, we landed on the 100-day moving average right there. Okay, yesterday we opened here and we pushed up here and we bounced off the 50-day moving average in the SPY. Okay, so now you turn our attention back to the futures daily charts. This swing low is the next destination, most likely, if there's continued weakness. This swing low as well in the ES, and that's about 6771. Okay, so we have a gap down, right? A little session on Monday, and then boom, you got some selling, and you can see right now price is right at yesterday's full day sessions lows. Okay, we kind of swept these lows and we're above it. So I don't know what's going to happen today. All right, I do not know. Trump's going to talk at 8:30. It's probably going to move markets. I don't know. Okay, but that's why we're here to trade, right? Or to talk about markets. Now, with that being said, oh, Netflix also missed their, I believe, their guidance. All right, so I'm be straight out with you. Netflix is at $80. It's under a key monthly support. I might look to nibble on Netflix. I mean, that thing is down over 35% from the highs. So, sorry. This is all bad, what I just did with those graphics. Let's just get an introduction here. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steve Gonzalez. I use market profile and buying profile to find structure in the markets. Along supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. That is my edge. That's what I bring to you guys as my structure and my edge. Okay. Also use anchor view ups, market internals, my bread and butter. And as well of you, all you now know, or if you don't know, I've been using ICT, Smart Money Concepts, just to fund executable trades. That's a framework that I continue to use and found great success with over the last like two months, maybe 7-8 weeks. Okay. Now, hopefully you join me every morning. All right, give you the market story, economic calendar, news, leaders and laggards, technical analysis, and I'm going to give you the long and short trade scenarios in the ES and the NASDAQ futures. I give it to you first on an hourly chart based on candlesticks, and then we go into the market profile, volume profile. All right, so I give you double. Right now, if you want more in-depth coverage, you're going to join my Discord. That's Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. I will give you more in-depth coverage there, and hope to see you there. So sign up. Okay. Now, why don't we get right into futures? Gold is on a tear today. All right, gold. Well, let's talk about the VIX first. We have a 20 VIX, folks. A 20 VIX. Now, a 16 VIX means a 1% expected move in the S&P 500, plus or minus. So you're going to get more than that today. So the VIX is at a 20. We're negative gamma. That just means wider swings in the market. Okay, wider swings. Okay. Gold up 2.17%, all-time highs. Crude's up 0.5%. Russell's flat. Interesting, Russell's flat. 30-year bonds are flat. Now remember, Trump's talking in 8 minutes in Davos, okay? ES down 0.10. Dollar is down 0.16. 10-year yield is down. NASDAQ's down 0.20. The Dow is down 0.27. Silver's down 0.5%. Bitcoin's down 0.88. It's under 90K. It's at 88K. Ethereum down 2.35%. Okay, moving on to the Mag 7 Plus. There we go. AMD is up 1.10%. Broadcom up 0.5%. Nvidia is up 0.31. So this morning, semiconductors are getting some love. Now, Microsoft's down almost 0.5%. Google down almost 0.80%. Netflix is down almost 8%. Broke a key monthly support. Okay? There's nothing bad about Netflix. The only thing that they have on their plate, though, is trying to purchase Warner Brothers. Okay? And they missed their guidance. This company's a monster. That's why I'm like, might want to nibble a little bit. I might even do a pre-market. Not sure, because we're at a very key level. I don't know. Okay? Now, moving on. Top sectors. Mining. Mining stock is up 1.81%, followed by Exxon up 0.64, Chevron up 0.52. Lagging is your Johnson & Johnson. They reported earnings this morning. I guess the market doesn't like their earnings this morning. Now, ARM is a semi up 4.13, Oklo Nuclear up 3.5%, Abercrombie and Fitch almost 3%, GameStop up almost 2.8%. That's your Intel up as well. Look at the laggards today. Ooh, Make My Trip, I believe this is. Make My Trip. It's down 6.15%. Dollar Tree down 1.5%, and Charles Schwab down 1.5%. All right. Moving on to sectors. Sectors, what do we got? Energy leading the pack, almost up 1%. Okay, the more energy goes up, generally doesn't bode well for markets. So, semis up 0.58. Basic materials got metals in it, up 0.25. Lagging today is healthcare, Johnson & Johnson. Communications, that's your Meta, your Google, your Netflix. Okay? And I saw last week AMD surpassed Netflix market cap. Well, it's going to be even more now. Okay? There we go. Now, let's go over to the economic calendar. Now, Trump's going to talk in 5 minutes. That market might gyrate. Let's look at what's on tap for today. Let me set my alarm here. Those pending home sales don't tend to do much. I'm going to set my alarm before I forget here to just be wary of that. All right. Let's look at 30-year mortgages. Oh, came out. And it went down 0.02. President Trump's speech, you see it right here, 8:30. Pending home sales at 10 a.m. We also have some bond auctions, I believe. Let's see here. 20-year bond auction, so that's the TLT. TLT is the 20-year bond. All right. Not sure if that will move markets or not. All right. Moving on to financial juice calendar. Here we go. Trump Davos greeting at 8:10 a.m. Trump speaks in Davos at 8:30. Johnson, we got 9:45. Trump in meeting with leaders. 10 a.m. Supreme Court opinion on tariffs. Who knows if that's going to happen? Then you have Supreme Court. Fed Cook's argument. Then Trump meets business leaders. This is going to be. You got to be careful here. Trump's talking a lot today. He hasn't really, besides these tariffs, where I've seen a time, like I haven't seen something really lately, and maybe someone can refresh my memory, where like Trump in the middle of the day says something and it just like rips the market apart. I haven't seen that. So we'll have to see. Okay, we'll have to see. Let's look at that earnings calendar real quick. We're talking about calendars here. All right, so after the close, Netflix, United Airlines, Interactive Brokers all reported after the close. This morning, Johnson & Johnson, Halliburton, Ally, Charles Schwab all reported. Travelers, Make My Trip. I guess Make My Trip here didn't have great earnings. After the close today, Kinder Morgan, Bank of California. What else here? That's really it. Tomorrow before the open, Procter and Gamble, that's the staples. FCX, copper and gold. GE, that's a pretty big one. Abbott Labs, healthcare. McCormick. All right, that's what we had before the open. All right, tomorrow. Back to news. Let's go and see if there's an updated list here. Here we go. All right. Netflix stock slumped 7.4 after the streaming giant unveiled largely underwhelming financial guidance, flagged declining viewership of non-branded licensed titles as it pursues a massive bid for Hollywood stalwart Warner Brothers. United Airlines stock jumped 3.5 after the carrier beat quarterly profit expectations. Kraft Heinz stock fell 5.8 after the regulatory filing indicated that Berkshire Hathaway may shed 27.5% stake in the packaged goods foods giant. Wow. Johnson & Johnson stock fell 1% despite the pharmaceutical giant forecasting 2026 sales and profit ahead expectations and anticipates a hit of hundreds of millions of dollars from a drug pricing deal recently notched with the U.S. government. Halliburton stock rose 1.8 after the oil services company reported fourth quarter earnings and revenue that exceeded analyst expectations. Travelers stock gained 0.2 after the property and casualty insurance giant beat estimates. Truist Financial stock fell 2.7 despite the bank reporting a rise in fourth quarter profit. Let's see here. Teledyne Technology stock rose 4.9 after the imaging and aerospace technology company reported fourth quarter earnings that exceed expectations. Ulta Beauty stock gained 1% after Raymond James upgraded its stance on the cosmetic company to a strong buy. Dollar Tree stock fell 1.9 after BNP Paribas downgraded its stance. Alrighty, let's look at more news. Determined to grab Greenland, Trump faces tough reception in Davos. We know about Netflix. Let's see. Exclusive Meta's new AI team has delivered first key models internally this month. Let's see here. Now, I know that Besant was talking yesterday and was saying that this has nothing to do with Greenland and the tariffs. It has to do with the Japan bond. Japan having a Six Sigma move or something in the bond market. Maybe. Not really sure, right? All I know is the market went down. So, all right, I think we're going to move on here. Let's see here. Yep. Let's look at some upgrades, downgrades that could explain some stock movement here. Let's look at upgrades today. All right, let's see. ARM, there you go. ARM, that was why it was leading. ARM, semi, upgraded. Let's see. Oklo, upgraded. Ulta Beauty, upgraded. Downgrades. Cheesecake Factory got downgraded. Waste Management got downgraded. All right. I think we're done here. Let's move on. We'll go over that daily. That my bread and butter. My internals. Let's do it. So yesterday, okay, market was never super strong, right? And then it gave up the goods around here. Okay, gave up the goods. So when you have all these red, that was not the case early on. It was green. These are all green. Okay. So this is when we bounced off the 50-day moving average, whoop, and then gave up the goods. But you can see it just like degraded. It kept just getting weaker, right? That's what happened. Okay. That's what happened yesterday. There's not much to go into here. Right, remember I told you I took the scalp short, I believe somewhere in here. Okay. This is SPX. So that's that. Now we're going to go right into daily charts here. We did a little daily stuff earlier. All right, so that's a nice gap. All right, so SPY bounced off initially that 50-day moving average, and we move lower. We close lower, right? kind of into this candle's lows over here. Okay. Now, this is the 100-day. This is last month's lows. Maybe see that's last month's low. Last month's lows is that swing low, 671. That might just be what the market needs. I don't know. All right, that might be what the market needs. Okay. If you follow me on my channel when I go live, I usually say that's what the market wants, this level. I don't know right now. Now, look, we're at 676.28. We are, yeah, what are we? Yeah, we're gapping down right here. Okay. So write that down. This swing low is 671.20. That might be what the market wants to go. That will hit your 100-day moving average, a previous monthly low. Okay. Futures. Let's look at futures. Okay. So, what are we doing here? That was last week's lows. That was what we hit our head on. Boop. And then sold off to the 100-day moving average in futures. Now, that's yesterday's lows. We are below that. Now, in futures, this level, again, previous month's lows, that is 67.70s. That's also the swing low here. Now, if we continue to get some weakness, this is probably where we end up if we can't resolve the 100-day moving average. Okay? Even if you sweep that, come back up, I would think that's a buy. Do I think we go to all-time highs? I have no clue. Okay, but that's probably a destination right now. Okay. Now, Trump's going to talk. Oh, he's already talking. So this could change, whatever he says right now. And again, remember what I said. We know about this now. Just be aware of that. Okay, when I was first in markets, I would always think, oh, but the market let's say this is going on in the market, this war, this, unexpected war, yes, but if the Ukraine-Russia thing, doesn't matter. Because we know about it. It already happened, right? Priced in, and then we move on. So right now, you got to think about this. The Greenland with tariffs on Europe and couple things. What does Trump do? What is he doing right now? Do you think he really is going to do this? Or is it a negotiation tactic? That's how he negotiates. He goes for an extreme, and then what happens? He winds up rescinding them, then they make a deal, and they're nowhere near where he threatened. That's his MO. Does this affect Meta? No. It really doesn't affect that much our stock market. This is just a news event we didn't know was going to happen, and now we're getting a correction in our markets. What can he say now? That will just take down our markets that he hasn't already said. It's priced in now. Now, we could go lower, but we know about it now. It's discounted now in the market. So just keep that in mind. I'm not telling anybody to go long. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that's how the market works. If the market knows about it now, we know about it. Unless there's some other thing we don't know about. Don't outsmart the market. You can't do it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Okay? If the market knows about it, if everybody knows, then there is no surprise there. Okay? Remember Liberation Day? Remember that? And then the market ripped from April 7th up to all-time highs. You priced it in, and then it was rocket ships. Okay? Now again, that's only from me realizing this, and I didn't always think like that. Because I'd always be like, I don't know. This could really fall apart. No, it's not how the market works. Okay? So let's move on to Qs. All right, see the Qs hit the 100-day moving average. Okay, remember this swing level. That swing level, I think that market might want this. 600.28. That is last month's lows. That market might be straight headed for there. I don't see much support here. Okay. 606. Now the Nasdaq's actually relatively weaker. Let's see here. Currently we're at 606. We're gapping down. Okay. So let's see what we're going to do. All right. Now let's look at our futures here. Now look at that. That's pretty bearish, folks. Okay, we closed here. Now we opened. We pushed up. Now we're below previous session's lows. I'm telling you right now, this looks like this market wants this level. That swing low is right there, 24887. Right there. That's last month's lows. That's a previous weekly low. That's a swing low. Okay, my bet is on that liquidity level. That's the destination that I would see currently right now. I think we need to hit that. Right? Now Trump's talking. We could just turn around and rip back up. Who knows? Okay? Who knows? All right, that's futures. We got the levels now. So let's look at the breath. How does that breath smell? The breath weakened yesterday, as expected. So now we're back to 62% of stocks over their 50-day simple moving average on a daily chart. Okay? Still better than half. So this market is not that bad shape. It's not. It's middling. It's middling. Okay? It's very middling. You can see how much time we spent in the middle here. Okay? We're headed back to that middle. Now you have to think about something. We've rotated out of technology a little bit. Let's XLK. Look at XLK. So this is where, remember I said, let's watch XLK? Well, we broke down. We look at that consolidation. This is hence why we're getting a big move lower. Okay. Little gap here. Now where are we now? We're at 141. We're right around here. Okay. Now look, that has a swing low too. Okay, you breaking out, you get follow through. You don't have you have poor structure right here. You could just go whoop right down. Okay, right down. Let's move on. Let's move on, folks. Let's go to the hourlies. Let's go to those hourlies. Let's look at these together. We're definitely in a downtrend. Swing highs, right? Swing lows. But that level that I've talked about, okay, the level that I've talked about is the 6830s. That's the most traded price, this gold box, of the rolling year. That's not a level that you generally just rip right through it. It just doesn't work like that. Okay, it's the most agreed upon price of the rolling year. Okay. So, now that we're on the hourlies. Oh, you really? You're going to do that to me? This marker acts up on me. Alright, let's talk about the hourlies. Okay, so that was last week's lows, right? Now, yesterday, we didn't even come close. The Nasdaq did. Okay, see how we popped into this supply? The supply right here. And we could not go higher. Then we made what? Swing high, a lower high. And then that was all she wrote. And then right here, when we took out, what we did, we had equal low here. See, then we took that out and then we swept it. So the market was not an easy read yesterday because look, that swept that liquidity, right? But then we lost it. And then that was my attention was to these equal lows, the overnight lows. That's why I scalped that short. Because at this point, when we're falling, the only destination that made sense was here. So that's where I scalped that short. Okay? And then it basically brought me to a break even day, a flat day. Okay? Just because when ticks are super red, it's a matter of time, and then this liquidity level, it's just a matter of time before it hits it. And then it smashed through it. It went lower to 68.30. Okay? But we're trying to get some support here. Now we do have a demand zone down here. Now look, remember guys, I have a daily bar here on my charts now on the hourly and a 4-hour bar. That 4-hour bar, pretty bearish bar in the last 4 hours. Still have an hour and 16 minutes left to finish this 4-hour, but that last 4 hours, look at that. Pretty much an open drive down from the 4-hour. Now, there is a liquidity level here. So that ray, that white line, means that there's a swing low that we're battling, which is this swing low right there. We're battling that level. We're trying to figure out if that's going to be a sweep or we're going to displace and fall lower. Remember that swing low I talked about is right here. 6771 right there. That's that swing low that I think the market will go to if we get further weakness. Why is that? Well, let's look. There is some demand zones here, don't get me wrong, but the structure is not the best. Look, we just ripped up here. It's not like a big consolidation here. So this can just get boom, boom, boom. We hit that, we sweep it. My guess here is you bounce from there if we get there. I don't know if we get there, right? You never know. Oop. So, what's my plan today? Well, we have a downtrend going, right? So you want to be on that side. But I also know we're at 68.30. So, honestly, it could look something like this, okay? We could go into this demand. Let's say we pop into this demand. Make this a swing high, let's say. Right? I'd have to see this taken out. You got kind of equal highs here now. Hold there and target this swing high. Okay? That's a possibility. Now, if you get that buying and you're like, I'm a short. Right now, you'd have to be biased short. Okay? So maybe the market rips up, goes into this supply, bearish for value gap here as well. And let's say you cannot take out that swing high. Let's say you fail in here and you put in another swing high. Well, it's probably going to come and roll over. And that would keep this downtrend. That's how I'm looking at it today. I do know this level's a beast. I do know this level is a beast. All right, that's your ES. Let's look at that NASDAQ here. NASDAQ was different yesterday. NASDAQ was relatively stronger. Look at that push from the overnight lows. Whoop. And what did it run into? Last week's lows. Last week's lows. Could not displace, and it was a sweep. And I kept mentioning it in my when I was live. I said, ooh, it's not being able to take out the overnight highs. It's failing. This is going to be a sweep. And then that was, all she kind of wrote. Okay? So that sweep was right there, and I was like, okay. But I have to say, the market wasn't super weak at this point because how could it be? And then gravity took over, and it was just like, oh, right? You wound up taking out. Did you take out the overnight lows? Let me see here yesterday. Ooh. So there was an interesting stat. Let me show you this stat real quick. I don't want to go all over the place, but I want to show you also why I scalped that short in the ES. Okay, just real quickly. So yesterday, let's go into yesterday. So I want to show you something. Where before I short it, there's a stat, okay, in futures basically, most products, most instruments, where 97% of the time the market either hits the overnight high or an overnight low. When we were up here and I saw a price, and let's say I think we were in here, I was like, oh wait a minute, the ES never hit the overnight highs or the overnight lows yet. Oh, and then this was an equal low. I was like, this is gonna hit there. And then when we were down here, like I said, I shorted around here to hit this overnight low, and it did. Boom. So that's just another just stat for you guys. And actually, the Nasdaq never hit its overnight highs or its overnight lows. Came close. Took it out later, but just wanted to share that with you. All right, now back over to the Nasdaq. We are battling a swing level as well. This ray, this white line. We're trying to resolve that swing low. We are also in demand right now. Okay, we're in demand. So there is a bearish value gap in here. I'm going to put that. Maybe I missed that on my ES. Right here. Okay. We found some selling in there. So let's see what we do here. Okay. Same kind of deal. You got swing high, swing high, swing high. You got a bunch of almost equal highs here into the gap. Right. Now, what do you want to see here? Right? So, if we're talking about levels here, well, this is a important swing low, and we did close once below, but look, we're playing with it still. We're playing with it. Look at the daily candle. Right? It's not the most bearish. Okay? Last 4 hours, we've opened here in the 4-hour candle, right? We opened there, pushed up a little bit, bodies here, and you got a wick. Okay? Might be bottoming out a little bit here. Might be, maybe. Okay? So, what you want to do if you're short, right? Because we got a bunch of equal highs, and then we finally, boom. Interesting, you never really swept that there. Pushed up, right? So if you just look at it like this, you want to make sure that you step in to see what it does in this area for a short. Okay, because if we take our little tool, let's make it neater. Okay, and we're just gonna go based on trend. Boom, swing high, swing low. Look at this ugly trend here. Swing high to a swing low to a swing high to a swing low, and then we're like, let's just say we're bouncing here, right? Let's just say that's what we're looking at right now, right? Come on. Okay. So if we take this and just move it away, right? That's our skeleton, right, of the trend. Look at that equal highs here, right? So, and look at the equal lows. Very key liquidity levels. Now, look, we got swing high and a swing high, right? So what you want to do is if this market comes up, you want to make sure that this swing high is secure. And if we get trouble here and we put a swing high in again, that's a short targeting here. Okay? That's how I'm going to look at that. Now, of course, there's always room for a long. We're pretty much starting to get very oversold, right? So, in here, right, we got a swing low now, right there. Let's see if that's secure or not. I'm not super confident. Now, maybe there's a scalp here, okay? because you got a bearish or value gap here. So you would need, for me, right? Maybe this is honestly, this is not the best short. I think you'd have to come down here somewhere for me to think of a scalp short, being honest with you. But yes, there could be room for this move. But I'd rather be short in here to do that. But you never know. Okay? That is, look at those equal highs. Look at those equal lows. Woo. Okay. Beautiful. Let's get out of here. All right, moving on. Let's kill it now with the market profile, volume profile. All right. Here we go. Now, real quickly, let's show you the ES daily. Look at that volume. This is where I wanted to show you. 68.28 is the most traded price of the rolling year. Look at that volume spike. Over the rolling year, you just look to your left. That's the most traded price of the rolling year. Okay? You generally don't just rip through it. You just don't. 100-day moving average, right? You don't. If you do, woo-wee, not good. Not good. Remember, this swing low, 67771, 6771s, that might be our destiny. Not sure. Now, if you take that out, this is not great structure right there. The way we just ripped up. Notice there's a pocket of volume here. That's this. Not a lot of volume. So if you break this volume shelf right there, you could go right to that low volume node here. That should be a pivot point, which becomes this swing point. You don't want to lose that. 200-day moving averages right here. Okay? So just letting you know. Now, the NASDAQ. Remember I talked about this. I said you don't want to lose their most traded price. Well, guess what they did? They did. They lost it. Now, look at the NASDAQ's volume profile. Here's the shelf. So if you draw a line under the shelf, where does that draw under? That swing low that I talked about. Look at the pocket of volume. Not a lot of volumes taking place in here. Okay, so if we can't hold that swing low, that pocket of volume is going to bring us to the 200-day moving average and that swing low. Okay? Don't know if that's in the cards or not. Just showing you. Back to the ES. We're getting some love here. Item 68.30s. Okay? Trump, so far, I don't know. I don't know if this bounces because of what Trump's saying. I haven't heard any large orders hit the tape. Let me just make sure. Let's make sure here. Let's see. I don't see any red Trump. Let's just refresh just to make sure. He's supposed to be speaking. I don't see any red. No large orders hitting the tape. So let's talk about this, right? I just talked about a lot of it, so I don't have to make a ton of analysis here. Okay? So, like I said, this is a swing high that we want to protect for the short. That's a lot of volume here. That's a very odd looking tail. That's very odd. You don't see that a lot. That's a lot of like volume in here. Okay? That's not an excess. You don't see that a lot at all. That is very interesting looking. Tails look like this. They don't usually have that many TPOs across. That is very odd looking. Okay? So, it's all about that's supply overnight highs. Okay? We have our yesterday's lows in the overnight lows. We know that's the most traded price of the rolling year. Below that is woof. Okay. Midpoint of yesterday, 68.63. Okay. And honestly, I think I got my plans right here. I don't think I need to go into that much detail. I really don't. Let's break out the session. Really don't. I went over it ad nauseum in the hourly chart. Look at that. That is, like I said, when you're at the bottom of a session and tail, you do not have 5 TPOs. 5 30-minute bars stacked there. That is not normal looking. I could tell you that right now. Okay? I could tell you that right now. So, get into scenarios. Let's do it. So, my number one scenario for a short is right here. We're down here, most traded price of the year. Fine. We put a swing low in. Great. Great. That could be a manipulation to distribute. Okay. Poor structure a little bit here. Now, let's go into to here. I want to see what we do in this area. Okay. Best scenario would be, whoop, put a swing high in. You can't take that swing high out, that overnight high. You're in supply. You're in a bearish value gap. Now, that's the strength to move lower. You're going to attack the overnight lows. Okay. Maybe you target the 67.71s next. I don't know. This gets taken out and it starts to rip. Oof, you can just go right to that key level. And I said, I don't know. We've had multiple down days or multiple sessions that are down. Okay. You are trending lower. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't know. Okay. That is probably the only short I'm interested in. Now, there could be an intraday scalp that I don't know that I'm going to probably hit today. I have no clue. Let's go to the longs now. Okay. As a long. All right. Now, I'm aware. I am very aware that the market could do what I said. I am not very confident in longing right now. I'd rather wait and snipe a short. But there's probably a long in here. Now, one of them could be we rip down, take out that swing low, go right into demand, and let's say we do this, and whoop, go right back into this range, put a higher low in, and maybe you get this. And maybe we just get the move to here. I am not a fan of that. But I'm going to put it on here. I am really not a fan. The one thing possibly, that I would be a fan more of is we drop. We just drop into this major demand, either into this major demand, see how it goes, right? And if we do one of these, and the internals are not that weak, maybe. But I'm honestly just not a fan of a long right now. Now, if we break these swing high somehow today, all right, if we do, if say we come up here and go boom, displace, start holding, this pullback, right, could shoot us up. Now, again, internals have to be stronger. That's when I start getting interested. Take out that swing high, take out the 68.57s. You might have something there. Especially if we sweep these lows. You might have something there. Okay? That's the ES. Let's move on to the NASDAQ. Okay. NASDAQ. Again, very odd tail. That's not normal. I'm telling you right now. You don't have that many TPOs at tails. It doesn't really happen a lot. Okay? So, that's important swing low here. That is an important one. Now, same thing. What are we going to do? Mark off our bearish value gap with our supply. Happens to be the most traded price of the overnight as well. Okay. Midpoint of yesterday is 25265. Now look, you took out these equal lows right there. Right now, like I said, it's starting to move back inside the range. This could be the manipulation to move up. So we're going to mark off this demand zone with the overnight lows. Now you do have a major demand in here from 250 to 249s. All right, this box here. Okay. So this is pretty much the playground for me today. Let's break this out. Right now, that could be a little manipulation right there. I don't know. We're in demand. I'm a little weary when we go into demand, but remember I showed you guys the structure is not the best here. Okay. So let's get the plan going. Let's get the plan going here. Okay. Let's talk about the short. And it's going to be the same kind of plan. Now, we do have a bearish value gap that's being honored right now. Okay. Swing lows here. So, obviously, in here, you have another one here. But, like I said, this see how we're in demand? I don't really like to be in demand to take that short. I want to get more of a premium, right? So, my goal would be, all right, get a little buying and fail right here. Not take the swing high out. Boop. Get in a lower high. That's your short. That's when you start really cooking. Take out the swing low here, the overnight lows, and then if you want to hold the runner, see if we can go to the 249s. All right, Trump must be saying something good. Look, that's a nice push up there. Large order hit the tape. Okay. That's a large order hit the tape. That could be a sweep. Let's see. Or if it displaces and closes up here, then we might have what I'm talking about right now. So let's see. So he must have said something the market's liking. Look at that. Okay. Let's be cognizant of that. So this is my short scenario. Same thing's pretty much the ES. Okay. Don't want to mess with the bands down here to be short in. Okay. That's what I'm looking at. Now, as far as a long, so right here, right, if this is the manipulation, this could be the distribution. Now, this bearish for value gap could turn into an inverse for value gap. So let's say we do this. And like I said, I'm still going to be on the side of the short. This is just another. Ooh, this market's really starting to rip up here. He must have said something. So if we come back down here, boom, you get long. You target this area. That swing high. That's your target. Okay. Gravy is if you break it and you go up. Okay. Now, we could come down here again, sweep these lows into the major demand, and then you can catch a bit again. Okay? Now, if you're conservative, you wait for that swing high to break. Hold, pull back, hold, go long. You can target last week's lows, the gap above us. Okay, so Trump must have said something. I don't know. Okay? I heard a large order hit the tape. We can check it right now. Let's see if there's any news. Okay, Trump has said a couple of things. Trump, Greenland is part of North America. It's our territory. U.S. should have kept Greenland after World War II. Trump at Davos seeking immediate negotiations to discuss acquisition of Greenland. Trump, U.S. buying Greenland would not be a threat to NATO. U.S. treated very badly by NATO. Trump, We give so much to NATO and get so little in return. Trump, people will soon be prosecuted for 2020 election. Jeez, that's a lot of friggin' bombs that's getting dropped there. Okay, I don't know what of those the market liked, but that's what happened. Let's look at some more news here. Um, Denmark is ungrateful. Greenland is sitting undefended in a strategic occasion. Greenland needed for strategic national security. Greenland is part of North America. It's our territory. Okay. Exports of Venezuelan oil as part of supply deal with U.S. reached 7.8 million barrels. Documents and shipping data. Trump, the U.S. alone can protect Greenland, develop, improve it. We are seeking immediate talks on Greenland. Greenland would not be a threat to NATO. Okay. That's what's going on right now. So Trump is talking. And I'm done, folks. All right. Smash that like button if you enjoyed my analysis. That would be much appreciated. Okay. Hopefully you join me every morning. Subscribe, set that alert, give you the market story, the technical analysis, just give you long and short trades and there's in the NASDAQ and the ES futures. If you want more in-depth coverage, you're going to join my Discord, Components Trading. I go live pretty much every day. Give intraday commentary. Trust me, I will not steer you wrong. I'm very highly accurate within the intraday sessions of what's possible. Okay? So, that being said, everybody have a great day. Hopefully you stay green. Remember, no trade's a trade. No trade's a trade. And always try to repeat certain setups that keep showing up. Okay? That's the best thing to do, is sit there and wait for your setups. All right? Everybody have a great day. If I don't see you in my Discord, I will see you tomorrow.